What actually happens? If you get hit by a train. A freight train traveling at 55 miles per hour cannot stop in less than a mile. A car can stop in about 150 feet. That gap, that single catastrophic difference, is why a collision between a train and a vehicle is almost never a contest. It's an execution of physics. Today, we're breaking down exactly what happens, second by second, when a vehicle gets hit by a train, and why almost nothing goes the way people expect. The horn. When the conductor warns you. Federal law in the United States, specifically the Federal Railroad Administration's horn rule, requires train conductors to begin sounding the horn at a minimum of 15 seconds before reaching any public grade crossing, and no more than 20 seconds out. At 55 miles per hour, that puts the warning at roughly a quarter mile away. The horn pattern is not random. Conductors follow a federally mandated sequence: 2 long blasts, 1 short, 1 long, repeated continuously until the locomotive occupies the crossing. The sound registers at approximately 96 to 110 decibels at 100 feet, louder than a chainsaw. And yet, studies from the National Transportation Safety Board consistently show that drivers often don't hear it in time. Or worse, misjudge the train's speed entirely. A train at highway speed looks deceptively slow from the front. It isn't. The speed and the physics. Freight trains in the United States operate at typical speeds between 40 and 70 miles per hour on mainline tracks. Passenger trains like Amtrak run between 79 and 150 miles per hour on certain corridors. Even at the lower end, the numbers are staggering. A fully loaded freight train can weigh anywhere from 6,000 to 20,000 tons. A standard passenger vehicle weighs roughly 1.5 to 2 tons. When those two objects meet, the train does not slow down in any meaningful way at the moment of impact. The locomotive registers the collision as what engineers describe as a minor bump, equivalent, in terms of felt impact, to hitting a large cardboard box. The train's speed barely changes. The car's fate is immediate and total. The moment of impact and what happens to the car. This is where physics becomes devastating. The train's cowcatcher, the angled steel frame at the base of the locomotive, does not stop the vehicle. It redirects it. In most collisions, the car is not hit dead center and crushed. Instead, it is struck at an angle and swept violently to the side. The vehicle's structural integrity fails almost instantly. The engine block, the frame, the roof, all of it collapses or shears within fractions of a second. If the car is on the track's broadside, the locomotive's front face, which can stand 15 feet tall and weigh over 200 tons, simply overrides it. The car can be dragged, rolled, or pushed down the track. According to data from Operation Lifesaver, a national rail safety organization, vehicles involved in train collisions are routinely dragged between 300 and 1,500 feet before the train comes to a complete stop, depending on the train's speed, weight, and braking response. At highway speeds, emergency braking on a fully loaded freight train requires anywhere from 1 to 1.5 miles to reach a full stop. The car, in most cases, does not survive the first 100 feet. Survival rate. What the data actually shows. The survival statistics are sobering. According to the Federal Railroad Administration, approximately 2,100 collisions between trains and vehicles occur annually in the United States. Of those, roughly 270 to 300 result in fatalities each year, with hundreds more producing serious injuries. The survival rate depends almost entirely on one factor: where the vehicle is struck. A glancing blow to the rear of a car at low train speed, say under 30 miles per hour at a slow yard crossing, produces a dramatically different outcome than a full broadside impact at 60 miles per hour on a mainline track. Side impact collisions are the most lethal. The door panels of a standard vehicle offer almost no resistance to a steel locomotive. Survivors typically share one common factor: they were not fully on the tracks at the moment of impact, or the train made contact with a non-passenger section of the vehicle, such as the trunk or front bumper. Other critical factors: most people don't consider. There are elements of a train collision that extend well beyond the moment of impact. First, secondary fires. Ruptured fuel tanks combined with hot locomotive components make post-collision fires a serious and rapid threat. Emergency responders are trained to treat train collision scenes as active fire risks. Second, the track itself becomes a recovery barrier. Derailments, though not always caused by vehicle collisions, do occur. And a derailed freight car carrying hazardous materials transforms a traffic accident into a regional emergency. Third, and perhaps most overlooked, is the psychological impact on the train crew. Conductors and engineers involved in fatal crossings frequently experience acute PTSD. In a collision they cannot prevent and cannot stop, they are forced to witness the entire event unfold from the cab, with no ability to intervene beyond braking and sounding the horn. A train does not swerve. It does not brake in time. It does not yield. The crossing gate, the flashing lights, the horn, those are not suggestions. They are the last line of separation between a 2-ton car and 20,000 tons of steel moving at highway speed. Every year, the physics plays out the same way. The train always wins.